we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. And I am Kevin Lee. Welcome to Live with Kevin Lee today. We have a very special guest, a dear friend of mine. And this is Dr. Virginia Leblanc, and she is the founder, president, CEO of Defining Paths. She is a highly sought after multidisciplinary star on the global scene across industries. She's been mastering the art of the pivot for many years, transforming people, transformations through transition, and earning her the nickname, the Pivot Maestro. Dr. Virginia is an international best-selling author of the book, Love the Skin You're In, How to Conquer Life Through Divergent Thinking. And Doc V's mission in the world at Defining Paths is really transition, specializing in retiring military transition from service, as well as women leaders from the workplace into purpose, love that, entrepreneurship, right? Purpose-driven lives. A holistic transformational coach in her own right, she is putting you back in business and building success from scratch, guiding her clients to think without a box. That's beautiful. That's gold right there. Welcome to the show, Doc V.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm always happy to be with you and your audience. So thank you so much for having me again.
You are so welcome, especially, it has been a while since we've played together in the virtual scene, but I'm so grateful for just the time that you're sharing today with my community. And I think they're going to get a lot of value and a lot of blessing, definitely from just your share today. So I know what you're all about, but they don't. So that's why I wanted to share you.
Well, I appreciate that. And that is my hope and prayer.
You are so welcome. Now tell us, I'm curious because your background is, you have a military background. And would you speak to us a little about your background there? How many years, what branch were you in, and how does that apply to what you're doing today?
It's so interesting, and I'm happy that you asked me that question because I get it a lot. And a lot of people assume that I was active duty. I was not. As you can see from these beautiful yellow and brown glasses with coloring, I have a visual challenge, I will say. So I was unable to serve active duty, and it was the timing was interesting when we discovered that, because I was a junior, senior in high school. I had been recruited by, every branch of service, and that was the plan. I come from a military family. I come from a service-based family in general, of teachers, preachers, you name it. Right. So that was really devastating for me. But I had to, pick up myself and decide, okay, well, I'll just go on to college. So long story short, I came full circle and ended up working for the industrial military complex, for the Secretary of the Navy, for the Department of the Navy. Wow. Did some assignments with defense contractors, working with various projects through joint forces, and then ended up going overseas, serving as a human resources director, because I forayed into that. So I was in program integration division. I was in, you name it. Ended up in human resources. I spent some time as a director over on the gorgeous island of Crete. Which is like another home for me now.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And so, and then I came back to the States. I was stationed at the Pentagon, and just had the opportunity to literally experience the military life, military community from the top down, bottom up, whichever you want to say. Wow. And just really to see the nuances, from the actual, installation life to, the policy-making piece, and looking at how all that fit together. And then, the unintentioned holes, I will say, that exist, and, of course, it's my passion, it's my heart, it's my greatest desire in my work, a large part of my work, really half of my work, to make sure that those men and women who are coming out of service, who are already out of service and, finding themselves not really clear on their passion's purpose, where they want to be, how they can live that inspired life, find their passion and their soul purpose, as I like to say, and stand them up as purposed entrepreneurs. So literally provide a turnkey solution, and then all of that holistic support, because one of our slogans is be your own boss in mind, body, soul, and business. Right. So that's kind of the whole story and connection to the military community. So
I love that. And then how did the concept of defining paths come to you?
Kevin, now that's crazy, because I had this name. This was a divine download, the name that I received back in 2010, I think it was. I was working at Indiana University in Bloomington. I was the director of a holistic scholarship program there that I had developed to really focus not only on the academic piece, because most colleges and universities just focus on the academic piece, right? Get you through college, 4 or 5 years. But we developed that as a holistic program to help develop the student as not only the academician, but the professional, and and looking at their personal journey. So I worked with students, cross-disciplinary. Most of my students were business students, but representative of all. I had music students. I had, those on the legal, the path for pre-law, and you name it, nursing even.
Right.
And so really in that program, when I first entered, I worked my way up to 3 positions. I was the career coordinator of career and academic services. So I developed what I call visioning blueprint, and where we addressed those, and we started to blueprint and plan and talk about all of those areas, and started to put that structure in place for the students. So really that's where Defining Paths was birthed. Wow. I didn't have the name right then. So actually that was the seeding. That was the seeding. Yeah. Back in 2006. And then in 2010, when I was preparing to pivot from the university, and I was thinking about the entrepreneurial piece, that name just downloaded. I didn't even understand why, Kevin. Honest to God, until about 3 years. So literally about 7 years after, I started to process, what that was about, what that meant, when I was writing my book, Love the Skin You're In, How to Conquer Life Through Divergent Thinking.
Wow. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, definitely. That was the seeding. And it's just like bamboo takes 5 to 10 years to grow a foundational root system that spreads out quite far. But yet then in that 5th or 8th or 10th year, all of a sudden it shoots up 20, 30, 40 feet high in the air, but it wasn't even above the surface for 5 to 10 years.
Kevin, you just gave me
Isn't that wild?
You just gave me thought bumps, as one of my mentors says.
I love that. It's so true. You can't catch my words, but I'm thinking about Exhale Retreat that you have coming up. And I'm curious about that. Tell us about this retreat that's coming up in Mexico very soon. And then where did that idea come from? How does it relate to Defining Paths?
That has been in my head for about 2 years now, 2-3 years. And, with Defining Paths, the whole piece of transformation through transition, not viewing change or transition as a fearful thing, but it's also, to embrace it and understand that, there will be challenges that come with it, and there are difficulties that come with it. But before we attack those or face those challenges, sometimes we need to just breathe. We need to exhale, and, I was like, okay, well, what's the perfect, I had the exhale, the acronym before, I had the word before the acronym, I should say.
I love it.
That was just birthed in my spirit, and that's a part of defining your past, because it's so hard for us to connect the dots. And, we get all in our heads, in our minds. And oftentimes we cannot see past that. And it's just a matter of slowing down, stopping, taking care of yourself. One of my colleagues over in the Win-Win community yesterday, she was on my Candid Conversations TV show. She said, don't look at it as putting yourself first, but preserving yourself, preserving your health. Because some of us, yes, she's brilliant, Nancy Muller. And we tend to, we're not selfish people. So when we put ourselves first, we tend to think we're selfish, right? Or society or the world will tell us we're being selfish, particularly if we have kids, that sort of thing. So to kind of the long way around the bush, let me come back short. Exhale stands for Exponential Healing and Awareness to Live an Exceptional Life.
That's
That
amazing.
was, yeah, that was the download I got. And, part of my community, now we serve anyone who is heart-centered, socially conscious,
Mhm.
purpose entrepreneur. If they come to us, we serve them, right? But I started off working with women leaders and then, the military community.
Right.
So this particular retreat, even though we say Exhale Women Leaders Wellness Retreat, and it's going to be on the gorgeous island of Isla Mujeres in Mexico, if you do
Wow. And
not
that's
know
right
that.
next to Cancun, right?
Right next, yeah, a lot of people
Yep.
don't know about it. You
Yep.
hop a ferry, 20, 25
20
minutes,
minutes.
and you're
Yep.
there. Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my favorite places on earth.
Wow.
And so we're going to take women there. And ironically, or not so ironically, it's the island of women. That's what Isla Mujeres means.
Isn't that interesting? It's so funny. I speak Spanish. It didn't even dawn on me.
Yeah.
That point. That's funny. You just said that. See how easy it is to be in it, and your perspective it didn't even dawn on me. That's funny.
Yeah, because so we're oftentimes we have to travel surface, because we're in survival mode or we're just
Yep.
trying to manage our reality. So this retreat is about pulling women leaders out of that, pulling women leaders and or their partners. We're inviting partners to come.
Oh,
We're going
wonderful.
to have coordinated activities for them, just to be together and have conversation
Love it.
about what it means to be partnered with, a woman leader.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
all that goes with that. So, we have packages for that as well. But, it's really just, we wanted to provide a destination retreat, get us out of the environments we're in, get us away, solitude, be with nature. And one of my favorite places, of course, is beachside, right? Because the water is powerful and we're going to be tapping into that. So the dates are October 17th through the 21st. Coming up here in a few months, we're going to be tapping into nature, and how that affects us, as women leaders, having to just be that voice, going against the grain, which is one of my teachings, and being okay with that, exercising our superpowers
Yes.
out there in the world. But we, as both of our coaches, Lisa Nichols says, we have to take our cape off,
We do.
we have to breathe.
Yes.
I like to say, let's take our gloves off. So that's one of our pillars that, we're going to be working through. So it's 5 days. We have 5 pillars. And our first pillar is literally that. We call it our 5 breakthrough pillars. Take gloves off. The second pillar is rediscover yourself. Trust the salt. And that's going to really get us into nature. We're going to be in the water and everything is going to be beautiful.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah. Love the skin you're in is the 4th and ignite your flame is the 5th. So, yeah, we need this, Kevin, as leaders in general, everyone needs this. And this is just a start. We're starting with women leaders, but
I love that. I love that. I think, men have had their turn.
yeah.
But I think it really is interesting because the work that you and I both do, I know for myself, for the last 15 years, my demographic, my attendance at a lot of my events or things that I do, it's mostly women. And I find it interesting because I think it's because in the last 30 years, women are moving more into a place of personal power, a place of being willing to step into their dreams and to begin to really just shine their light and not hold it back or hide it in the house or hide it in the kitchen like the stereotypical. But there are also men, society and men are encouraging women to rise up, to shine, to find their glory, their power, their purpose. And I think this is really a pivotal a women's gathering. I think it'll be transformational for these women gladiators, I like to call them, because they really are they're going into battle, not in a negative sense, but in a sense of fighting for their dreams. Yes. And these types of gladiators need a place to take their cape off, to unwind, to be in a safe space where maybe they need to cry. Maybe they need to say a word or two that's not so nice in a safe, enclosed environment. Or even to just dialogue what's happening in their business, what's happening in their relationships with their customers, their company, and then group dynamics of discussing, things like that, ideas, concepts, fellow support, other gladiators supporting them. And I think it's a wonderful idea. And I love that you started with the concept of exhale, because that's the outcome or the result to get them there. And then you worked backwards from that to build this program of fellow speakers and leaders who'll be really transformationally coaching. I think it's going to be great.
Kevin, that was so well put. That was brilliantly put. And, and I just like to go even a little more deep because we don't understand. So two of my collaborators, Annabelle Quintero, who is absolutely, Annabelle, Step, Step, Jump author, business partner. She's all about cultural wellness. She's a cultural wellness coach. Wow. And Katie Warner, who is our soul fire coach. She literally brings the fire real and raw. Love so it. You better be ready. So we have like this perfect, this tripod that we're going to delve deep. Annabelle's going to connect you to your ancestral roots. We're going to have like just somatic, movements and healing and just, and revelations, so everything I do is all about taking people on that journey of revelation, reconciliation, and renaissance, what are your ahas, and reconciling that with your pain points and healing that, neutralizing that negative energy, bringing it forward, and taking it positive, in your renaissance, your rebirth, your rediscovery, so it's all about, we as women, we do not take off our capes. We do not take off our gloves, particularly when we're in these leadership positions, because we're constantly in having to prove something mode.
Yes.
And we're so busy pouring out on top of that. Mm-hmm. Well, this is an opportunity to just put all that down for 5 days, rest, recharge, connect with other, in our community, we call them corner women, gladiators, same thing. Love it. And just pulse check, and be honest. And we do everything in truth, transparency, and love. So, you're absolutely correct. It will be a safe haven. And there will be no judgment and nothing but love and honoring.
Unconditional love, right? Love me through my messy. Yeah. I'll love you through your messy. Just hold space for me safely.
Yes. And another colleague, Pam Sylvan, I'm co-opting words. She talks about the messy middle. I love that. So I told her I'm gonna put her out there. So
good.
Working through that messy middle of where we are right now and where we want and need to be, even as leaders, because it's a constant transformation. That's what we tend to forget. We think we have arrived or we're in a good place, and then something happens and we realize, okay, I still have some work to do.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Life is like the biorhythms, in nature of the human condition. And we have these peaks and valleys. It's like a resonance field, up and down. Some days you're on a high, some days you're on a low. Yeah. And you just kind of have to minimize the peaks and valleys in life. And I think retreats like this pour back in. It allows us to express. And I'm a nurse by academic training. So my background is healthcare. So I think of things that way. And it reminds me of expressing poison. If a snake or if an insect bites me, I'm going to try to get that out, express it, get the poison, the toxicity out. And what that allows is from the healing to begin from inward outward. Yeah. And so these kind of retreats are a great way to get things out, to expose them, to look at them in the light, and then to begin healing it or even replenishing the program internally so that it doesn't come back in, creating a barrier of positivity and new perspective or strength of mind and character and purpose. And that keeps that out, keeps it at bay. I think these are wonderful concepts. Now, how many spots do you have in total for this retreat?
So we have 15, and we've really not been pushing it. We've just been putting it out there, but we're about to start. We're doing the full court press now.
Yep, definitely. My tribe's about to hear about it.
Yes.
And so we have 15 spots. And then are there any types of early bird specials, or is it, do you have set fees?
Yes. So we like to say investments because, you are investing in yourself. Also, because you're a woman leader, if you're coming through your business or your corporation is sending you or what have you, those are tax write-offs for business. So the investment, we do not have an early bird fee in here. Let me tell you why. It's because this for us is not a moneymaker. This is about healing, nurturing, giving back. We're going to provide you a nice swag bag. You can read about all the benefits, but and it's all inclusive. All inclusive. So when
Oh,
you look at
that's
the
right.
pricing, yes. So when
Yes.
you look at when you look at the investment, you're going to be like, what?
If it
It's all
covers everything.
it covers everything. It covers literally your transportation from the airport to the ferry to the island to the hotel. We got you.
Love it.
So this is not a moneymaker for us. This is just to, cover our overhead,
Perfect.
hotel, the all-inclusive. Bottom line, we just
Transportation. And there'll be catering also. It'll all be fully catered.
for everything, drinks, everything, Kevin,
Fantastic.
everything, even sports that are not
Oh,
motorized.
that's fantastic.
All sports. So if you want to take a paddleboat, canoe, what have you, you can
Oh.
even bring your family.
Well, the resort is spectacular. Now, I
Yes,
cannot remember the name of it, but if you do, please share it. But
yes,
and I'll make sure what we do is we drop some links to these things in the description in this video for what we are discussing today. But
yes,
go check out this hotel. It is gorgeous.
yes. It's called the Mia Reef. It has its own island on the island.
Wow.
Process that.
Wow.
Uh, and it's called Mia Reef. They have been just wonderful. They even have, if you're concerned about COVID, of course, they take their precautions. They even have on site at the resort for testing to prepare you for your flight back and all of that. They are well prepared. We did our research. We looked at a couple of different places. So yes, the Mia Reef on Isla Mujeres is where we will be. And it's just going to be a tremendous time. So when you go to the link that Kevin provides you, it will give you all of the benefits, all of the results that we're expecting from it that you will get, all of the additional things we're going to give giveaways. Annabelle's even giving some her oil concoction that I hear is wonderful. I can't wait to get my hands on that. It's going to be a great time. The investment is nominal. You can have your own single room. You can be a single retreater in a double room, your preference. You can be in a double, split it with another retreater, and your cost is even lower.
Wow.
Or you can bring your family along for additional investment, nominal investment, to have them have a vacation and or be a part of this partner group.
Because a gladiator, a woman gladiator has a partner most likely at her side, and to have a foundation and a partner that supports you and is walking the journey with you, or has your back, or manages the office while you're out on the road. Those I don't have a cute term for them yet, but I'll have to think of one. But those partners that are supportive, I think it's a nice option that you all have thought of. You even took the time to think of the partner to include a way for them to attend and to be a part of this, but to have them just in a mindset of supporting the gladiator is powerful. Because they really do. They hold the home down, or maybe they're with them on the road in a managerial role, if you will. Right. And so I think it's important for them to also be a part of this type of an experience, to have the option to be a part of it.
Yes,
so I think that was brilliant.
Yes, and it's, like I said, October 17th through the 21st. So it's literally, we're asking people to come check in on Sunday. We'll have a welcome reception. We'll kick things off on that Monday, go all week. And it's going to be a great time. We'll mostly be outside. It's not good. We're not going to be in a classroom setting, so don't even think that.
Perfect.
So.
Fantastic. I'm so excited. And then may I ask you, do you have anything planned for later in the year, or maybe even early next year that you haven't told anybody? No other podcast but mine.
Kevin, you're going to get me in trouble.
I know. Okay. I
You're
want to
get me in trouble with my partner. No, but seriously, yes. We do. We have a lot planned.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we have a lot planned. And I can tell you one of our big events will be our International Women's Month celebration. And that'll be that second week in March, the 10th through the 12th, I believe it is, in March. And so we'll be putting out an all call to women leaders, speakers for our panels to just be a part of this celebration. That's the big thing. But yes, we are pivoting into a new direction and a new I guess, just that next level in the evolution of defining paths. So we're coming out with a lot, this whole transformation through transition piece. There are multiple parts to it. So our first thing is bringing people in, setting them up in business, but also providing resources, giving them platforms, helping them in authority positioning, because we are called to a global mission. So we serve in the mind. I hate this terminology, but it's the only thing I can think of right now. The least to the greatest, right? So we want to make sure that our programs, what we do, everything is accessible. So we have a lot in the works. So
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was a first here on. I think it was a first. I don't think I've announced that date. So
it's
that
still
was
beautiful. It's exciting. I love that.
Yes.
Is there a question you wished I would have asked you today that you feel that you would like to answer, or are you complete?
Kevin, I don't think there's a question, but I think there is something I would like to say just to be complete. I want to encourage people to think about investing in themselves more. Thinking about the why you're doing what you're doing. What are you doing? Is it the path that you chose for yourself? Did someone put you on it? Is it fulfilling you? Is it completing you? And if that answer is no, I want to invite you to think about, to go on a journey to rediscover your passions, and discover your soul purpose and own it, own your story, and start to define your own path, right? Start to live that inspired life that you were meant to lead. So I encourage people to just think about investing in themselves more, whether it's thought, whether it's, programs like or Excel retreats, but just really invite you to do that on a cellular level. Because when you start to, then you're going to start having those revelations, and you're going to start finding yourself in places of abundance, because you'll start living that life where you're more fulfilled, you're inspired, so on and so forth. So I just want to encourage people to invest in themselves.
Wow. Beautifully, beautifully said. I appreciate you seeding into the community and sharing that, because it's so needed. People need to see people like you and I standing up, rising up, finding our purpose and shining. It gives them permission to do the same thing. And I think that's what I love about the work that you and I do, is being able to stand as a representative, really as a symbolic lighthouse, to say, I know you're in troubled waters, and let me guide you with the light of my experience so that you can find your safe harbor, wherever that may be, in whatever capacity that may be. Allow the light of my experience to guide you. And I think you've nailed it. You've hit it right on the head with that. And I just appreciate you so much today.
Oh, bless you, Kevin. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And likewise.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to share Doc V, my good friend, Dr. Virginia Leblanc of Defining Paths, and with you today. And I would encourage you to check out the Exhale Retreat. We will be including, of course, access links so that you all can check that out as soon as possible. There's only 15 spots. And there are women from around the world that I know will be snatching these up and flying in, because I know you have a broad reach. And so I would encourage you to pour into yourself, give yourself a little bit of time with fellow gladiators. Bring your significant other with you if you're able to be a part of this. And again, that's in October 15th through the 21st, if I remember correctly.
Actually, 16th through the 21st, flying on the 16th, start on the 17th.
That's it. That's it. The 16th through the 21st. Yes. So sounds great. Yes, ma'am.
May I add one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
So about the investment, you can pay all up front, or you can break it up into 3 months. We've also set that up because we want to make it accessible for everyone.
Super, super helpful. Absolutely. I appreciate that so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again, I'm Kevin Lee, your host of Live with Kevin Lee, and I'm your brother in purpose and possibilities. You always know that. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all soon. Bye, Doc V.
Bye. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
You're welcome.